I'm gonna open up the sewer commissioner meeting of March 5th, 2024. First thing on the agenda. Minutes, do you want to do the minutes or do you want to hold them off until one's here?
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to read those, just, I just came in with, I do have comments though.
All right, that's good. Commitments, do we have commitments?
You have one commitment for 8780. It's a real estate transaction.
Okay, so it's $87.80. I'll make a motion to accept that. That's it.
For a second, I'll make the motion to take it, you know.
All
Since
those in
you're the
favor?
chair right now.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
All right, that's fine, that's fine.
Whatever that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Updates from superintendent. Dave, you're up.
So things continue to go well in terms of our process control. Lab numbers are coming in great considering it's the winter time. Denitrification numbers are great. Things are going well on that end. What else do I have going on? We are looking at our emergency procedures and policies for notifications of combined sewer overflows and things like that. I'm trying to update all our contact lists and make sure all our contacts are still at whatever department we're supposed to reach out to, whether it's DEP, EPA. We also have local news agencies we've got to contact. So a bunch of the procedures I've been going over the last couple of days just to make sure that we have current information on our emergency response procedures. Other than that, let's see what else I have going on. We've been working through the budget items, trying to figure out, for the articles, a town meeting, what sort of numbers we've got to work with. We've kind of gotten it down. I think Elaine had sent something this morning.
Yeah.
Are you guys on that
I did
email
see that.
thread?
I
So
didn't see that, I didn't copy it, but,
there's still a little bit of time. I think next week, not next week, but following week, the next meeting.
Our
we
next
have,
meeting, yeah.
We'll
We're
be
gonna
voting
verify
on,
it.
voting on verifying that and agreeing on the terms and numbers on it. So that's kind of kept myself busy, and I know Jeannie's been working hard at it with Elaine, so.
We've been looking at all the revenue numbers, debt numbers, and tying them back. And looking at all of the betterments, what we're taking in year to year, and what we'll be taking in moving forward.
So more than likely, we're gonna be looking at doing some sort of wage increase or a rate increase rather. And we're not quite at that point to determine what the number is, but the trend is starting to look that way. So
but we haven't had one in a decade, right?
I think since day one.
I thought there was one in the middle, but that's religiously.
At least 13 years from when I got on, it was 10. They hadn't changed them, so I'm down to 3.
And the water department has made 2 increases in just about the last year, so we really need to.
It's important to think about that, as we, as a commission, talk about it in terms of how we've held the rate steady in its time and with everything else going up, particularly chemicals for treatment plant. I mean, they're the one thing that's, I know personally, has gone off the wall. And they've gone off the wall before, but they tend to this last go around with a lot of other things happen. So it's kind of a marketing, public relations, but reality, speaking truth to the facts.
Yeah.
Just for all of us to think of it, we're not there yet, but we will be shortly.
Okay, there'll be more discussion on that as time goes on.
We have what we talked about last week, the other rate piece that we haven't nailed down with town buildings and all that.
Yes,
That's just so.
another piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it's another piece to not lose track of. Okay.
Anything else on your?
I'm looking at investigating an option for our phone systems. So at each one of our pump stations, we have dedicated phone line for that station. We pay a monthly service fee to the phone company for that phone line. I talked to a representative of it was new feature instead of using a landline, which we have problems with squirrels and mice eating the lines.
Right. So right now we have landlines to those facilities.
Yeah,
They call it,
Probably-
the call.
for the
line.
call out part.
You're looking for wireless, some sort of wireless.
So it doesn't use, it uses cell towers,
Mhm.
but you don't have to purchase a cell plan for it. So it's an independent kind of process that we're gonna pilot something soon and see how it lands. But the overall cost would be quite a bit of savings, but I don't want to change everything over till we at least pilot one of these.
Right.
I talked to a town out by Sturbridge that uses it. And they've been very happy with it, said it serves all the purposes that we need it for. And as long as you have good cell signal, you'll see a substantial savings on the phone system.
So it's not a Wi-Fi, it's just a regular
Yeah,
satellite type.
somehow their technology reaches out to the local satellite. But you don't, cell phones rather, cell phone tower. But you don't have to have a SIM card and a dedicated cell number for that station. So we're gonna try it and see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, we get a hurricane and takes a, telephone pole off the telephone pole in the areas that critical to us. We have no communication with our facility.
Sometimes we're out,
Yeah, substation.
sometimes we're out for days.
Yeah.
Waiting for the phone company to fix something. And if it was based off a cell tower, that should, even if one tower went down, the other towers can pull off.
Yeah, they all have backup generators anyways.
Good idea.
So we'll see where it goes, but that'll be something in the next coming months that we'll look at testing out.
I get two questions. It's just information for me. I noticed a like a 6,000 gallon trailer with non-hazardous waste coming out of the plant. And I was at the
Was it
dump.
green?
It was Noonan pulling it.
Oh, okay.
But I was wondering, is that septage? They bring it
So
in?
it was a tanker trailer?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that's the one that pulls the sludge out.
Fix it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they come in typically twice a week. Take out 8,500 gallons per.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seemed like it was a big tank. I was,
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say at least 6.
Mhm.
I didn't look at it. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's
It's
right.
outgoing, not incoming.
Yeah, so it's the dewatered sludge that we have remaining.
Yes, and back to cost, that's another thing that every year the cost of hauling that stuff out increases.
Ain't
So
gonna
it's,
get cheaper.
everything has been, you take it through from chemicals to electricity to sludge removal. And just go down the line, we're looking at increases and we've got to stay,
I was
above-
curious that it might be coming in. It was like, it might have been from,
No.
so I've heard somebody tell me that, not here, but up around Worcester, they actually have transfer stations where the smaller haulers will go to a transfer station, septic transfer hauling, station,
Okay,
and then they'll pull it into with a bigger tanker in. It must be economical. Somebody's making money.
oh, yeah.
It's curious because we're like the one, how much Plymouth doesn't take a lot, does it?
They take quite a bit of
Do they?
septic.
Now they are?
Yeah.
You weren't before, they weren't because they had so many problems.
Yeah, they'll actually take tanker trailers of septic at a whack.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're up to. I think 40,000 gallons or more per day.
Okay. Yeah, that was it. Just general questions.
All right, website update.
So I've been working on pulling pictures and putting some information together. I'm gonna make like a little packet to give to you guys so you can look at it and say what you think would be best. And maybe you guys can do some verbiage that we can put out there.
Yeah, I want to tie in as we get the rules and regulations, which are really needing the audit you're doing in the map. I'd like to tie that together somehow so that we can get CDM doing those maps for us. Because I know that I see us, again, going back to what we just talked about on the rates and revenues and coming in. When I was up and doing my signatures, how many people? When am I going to get sued? I go, what? Where were you 7 months ago? It was like, whoa. So that's several people came up to me, and I think that when we see how much of what we originally planned is not tied in, and I think it's a big number. And when that, you go back to the history, we're gonna have like another going out of business sale, like we did when we first started. It was like 17 contractors working at the same time, breaking pipes everywhere. You know, we had a budget for every transite pipe, and the nook was replaced. You know, every water line. It was like we had it figured out, and we paved the whole street.
Right.
It was like we built the entire infrastructure. It won't be that bad, but it's going to be interesting. We can talk about that some more later. It's just to put it on the record that I think there's a lot of people out there who I thought, and I never asked this question. They would, when are we going to get this? Why aren't I hooked up? Why aren't
We've had a lot of phone calls and traffic in the last few weeks, people calling to see if they can get on the sewer, if there's sewer lines in different areas. So there has been an uptick in that.
And that's without saying nothing. I mean, it's
A lot of it can be driven by real estate transactions.
Yeah.
People have to do a Title V and fix
yeah,
it.
that's a good point.
They're looking for that other option.
Oh, yeah.
It's either tie in or do we have to tear the yard apart?
60 grand now or 20 grand now. That's what it comes down to. It's like if you have a septic system to replace now, you're talking 40, 45 grand. Yeah, if you have any kind of soil problems, or unless you have
location.
And most of these houses that need that, they're small lots. That way they have no place else to go. All right, good.
Audit updates, plans, regulations. We're
Yeah, it is kind of
working on that.
with that.
Bleaching fields, David's property. Any updates on that?
Yeah, I've been working. Kept. I apologize to Elaine. I've been sending you your emails, by the way. You keep bouncing, or they don't.
Is it coming back to you?
No, they're either not coming back or you're not getting them. But I know this has been an ongoing problem. So I had taken Elaine and everybody off. So a lot of these emails back and forth because it's just minutia. But there's a few that I did send, and I know you didn't get them. So bottom line is, I've been going back and forth with the town council, Natural Heritage, CDM, and Kingston sometimes. We've done, and Elaine and I both have been going back and forth a week ago, and we finally got the contract for CDM signed. And I think we have everything wrapped up for the SRF contract. Those two are downtown, they're behind us. That was a pain that CDM was threatening to stop work. They were moving ahead on our goodwill, and so we kind of jumped on over this whole thing. So that's behind us. The CR is almost done. That's the conservation restriction which we had, but now it's been amended to allow all that 4.5 acres for stockpiling, which served its purpose. And really, I'm tomorrow, next day, I'll be talking with CDM and Natural Heritage again, just to be sure that we're ready to go. I think we are. Everything's in place. And this weather we're going to have, the critical path, speaking like that, engineers, manager, we can start as soon as the turtles, that's the other thing. Is that in the package? That was my last week, the package about signing the letter of Chief Hickey did sign it off.
Yeah, he did. I don't have a copy of that.
Okay.
Up there now.
That was the other thing. We're going to have a meeting. And this is what I told CDM. We have signed off the contractor. Low bidder is qualified. CDM's first. It's identified everything, looked at all the resumes, all the references, everything's great. So we have now gone through, as of last Friday, we went through, and that was agreed with them. And the next step is we have to have a meeting with CDM. It doesn't have to be all of us, but basically a kickoff meeting with them. And I intend to, as we've talked about, kind of stick my nose into this thing. Not that everyone can't look at this big pole. I'm gonna be all over this thing. I love to dig in dirt. I'm like a little kid. So, but this weather is like perfect. Like the gods came out in numbers because these little turtles have little transponders on them. And Natural Heritage says in southeastern Massachusetts they wake up on April 1st, which is like nothing biological that happens. But that's there. And then the rest of the states are April 15th. Our original permit said April 15th. I got it back to April 1st. And now, because the weather's going to be not going below freezing probably for the next 150 days or more, the turtles are gonna start waking up. So the contract is gonna be empty, I think, within 2 weeks or less. They're surveying the property, they're gonna put in the bounds, and we can go in and they can go in and put the fence, the turtle barrier fence, like, it would be like pre-kickoff. And then we go in a sweep. Once start moving around somewhere, anywhere in the southeast Mass, then we go in there and our contractor will, LEC, they're gonna come in and they'll do the sweep. If there's any turtles, they move them outside the fence. Once that's done, all the trees are coming down, we stop, and it's gonna go real fast. So just get ready. It's like, by the end of this month, I suspect we'll be cutting trees down and starting to dig. And it's that quick.
Wow. Very interesting.
That's something.
That's unreal. How quick everything's moving.
That just, it's like
Throw a whole bunch of money in that direction,
Keep
things
the-
will get
keep
done.
the foot on the accelerator, get rid of the roadblocks.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. Remember, I told you. I built a ramp, I designed a ramp off Route 3 with Quincy. 1,900 feet long in 12 weeks. And 19 weeks later, they were using it. And everyone said to me, what do you do? I said, hold on, I just had a gun. What do you think I did? I told them what to do and they did it. So this is fun. I'm having a good time. Okay, that's it. Shut up now.
Positive mental attitude.
We have to get them a webcam, so
We have a,
videotape all of this.
I got my hard hat from the last time. Did you get it? No, nobody got it. You didn't get my hard test. I'll bring my hard hat next time. It says Kingston Sewer Commission.
Nice.
That's all good one. You know, with me and everybody.
2 Anderson Ave, and
So there's some information in here, an email.
they have a stub there, or they just got hooked up for it.
It's at Smith's Lane, maybe Dave can speak on it a little better than I can.
So inside your packet, Jeannie included a little map. It's right at the top of Smith's Lane, across from the insurance company, right at the on-ramp to exit,
Yeah,
break.
exactly where you are.
And the very last house connected is from memory, number 51. So
It's
the next,
the lot, the yellow lot
the yellow
is
lot,
behind the fence, and it's
56
basically
Smith
at the
Lane.
beginning of Anderson Ave.
they
Yeah.
were looking at potentially tying in.
Okay.
So,
Does it come as far as their frontage?
so the last manhole is actually, if you follow the red line on the
Yep.
map there, it's
I don't know. I don't know.
it's down where the red line ends is about where the first manhole is. So they would have to tie into Smith Lane and then run it down the street to connect in. It's
Oh,
a
is it?
sizable
Okay.
distance. So
That's the next page.
we just explained to the homeowner that, you'd have your betterment fee
Yeah, okay.
of
Sorry.
22,000.
Yep.
And then you'd have to also have a
Pay the contractor.
engineered documents showing what you intended on doing.
Yep.
And then have a contractor basically bring the line from your house out to Smith Lane and then down across at least one property to tie into our system.
Within the street. you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think at that point, the homeowner is going to assess whether it was worth their trouble
Right.
and expense, or if they just put a new system in on their property when that time comes. It sounded like this septic system was still functioning, but they wanted to get into the sewer system.
Yeah, that particular area, they could probably do a dig and replace fairly reasonably priced. And to try and come across, is that state property that they're gonna
Well,
have to?
and that's something I explained that they might want to check with the highway department and see, what the jurisdiction is.
Department of Transportation, yeah,
Yeah.
because they own all that property right in front of him.
Yeah, you'd be looking at state police and everything else. And so it
That
could be,
make
it could be a
it-
process. So we just gave them the information as far as what we would require, but then they would have to go beyond that to, investigate if it's worthwhile for them. So we haven't heard anything back.
No, but
right?
Elaine said that we would need to get everybody to approve it, the commissioners to approve that we even, move forward with the
Just,
resident.
with it as an option.
just,
Because that does put you, sorry, to interrupt,
But-
it does put you kind of outside our zone. And that's something that, we've got to, I guess, have a policy on. Do we stretch out our system further than it is, or do we have to stay within that window?
this opens another door about who should be on and who's supposed to be on and who's, this whole neighborhood is part of the system. Most of it's not.
Up on the hill?
On here, yeah. And so that's just one thing. They weren't on a priority list, but it all depended on neighbor by neighborhood, system by system, how small the lots were. There was a lot of, there is clay in here. There's a lot of people that have failed systems. Because you start going to think of it geologically, up by the mall and all that big giant thing filled with dirt and sand and all that, no really good stuff. And as you start coming down, you go to Smelt Brook, it gets really crappy back in here, and it's right into the, so you get the direct impact of the river and all that. As you get down this way towards the Kennedy, or that way, right? That starts to get really, you see, there's outcrops ledge. As you get down, it flattens out.
Okay.
You know, and you start coming to Route 3, that part never got done. And the people on the hill, a new condo, one of the people who's, when I saw the other weekday, said, we want it up there. They didn't want it at the time because they had a brand new septic system. They said, when we get to that point 25 years ago, we are, now they're having problems because it was a very, just made it through the septic system design.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, and they're very tight, a lot of houses that are close together. So I just bring this up as this is one of the areas that it's not a clear every single house kind of thing. It's an as needed basis. And then just my last on this. You're right. The sewer, it is highway layout. You can see it. I can see it right here. But this could be a perfect place for an E1, but use it as a gravity, low pressure to 2-inch, very shallow. Instead of digging up the street right against the curb cut, that kind of thing. Just as another way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's only 100 feet to the sewer manhole. So.
It could be. It
Yeah.
could be.
It
There's
just-
the neighbor's line, there could be something that possibly they.
Oh,
tie
kind of
in.
that, yeah. If it's a
Yeah.
4-inch connection,
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's a 4 or a 6. It might be a 6 running down the sidewalk, and then that seems to drop into that last manhole.
yeah. So we could check that out, and then what this does is it takes that cost of a open cut, trench. Now you're talking tens of thousands of dollars to a very, very simple E1, or it's not even an E1. It could be just a regular. I'd want to anyway.
Yeah, we
grind the pump.
typically.
But you have that small diameter 2-inch connection.
Yeah.
But it acts as a gravity, so it never really backs up.
Mhm.
You don't have the problem with down and up, you've got to pump up. This is really going to act as a gravity system. And just a thought.
Yeah.
Again, my theory is the more the merrier till we run out of capacity. So anyone says, maybe, sure.
Do we need to take any action on this at all, or just let them explore it first, and
Well,
then they can get back and say they want to?
Elaine said that we would first have to say that we would go along with it and approve if they did want to move forward.
Okay.
That she had stated.
Yeah, we can bring that to the next time then, because the three of us. But I think if they can do it, it makes sense otherwise.
Yeah.
If we can keep the cost down so that they do it, it just one less problem that we have to worry about. Because if they come back, I look at it, they come back in, the fact that they're asking, to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And if we run out of capacity, then it's, sorry.
So you want us to make a motion to close enough to the stub
I would
that
think
they could,
it didn't seem like there was any urgency on it, so if we want to put it off till Elaine is back, or if you want to.
yeah, the lane
Yeah.
seems a little
Put
bit,
it off till-
I know
We're
you're
like this
allowing.
back, but just if you want to follow up with them and say, we looked at, the commission talked about it. There may be a way to do, we want to think about it some more, but
Yeah.
going to a small dam of sewer, find out what the existing stub is, maybe it's only a 50 or 60 or 70, but it's right on the curb, it's a half a day shallow trench.
Mhm.
And the fact it drains, it doesn't freeze, you got a whole bunch of things going in your favor as
Yeah.
opposed to a regular
Yeah.
sewer.
I know we had talked about it years ago, Union Grove. They wanted the option of being able to continue to run the sewer line up Veronica Ave. I think there's a stub up there now.
Okay,
And we were in agreement at that point in time to allow them to look into the cost of bringing it up to their property and then tying them that way. But everything was gonna be on them as far as
Yeah.
the cost was
Yeah,
concerned.
it's all on them, that's for sure, but
No.
do you wanna go, you wanna, I mean, I'll make a motion here, just to clarify, we'll um, make a motion that we authorize David as superintendent to just follow up with the alternative design
yeah,
for them to be able to make a better cost analysis, but that the commission will continue to look into it and decide it as a full commission at a later date. How's that?
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. Town meeting articles, we're all good about those.
So, yeah.
We'll ratify that when Elaine's back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Working on it, that's good.
Anything else? No? David?
Oh, I did have one thing, sorry, it goes back to the, kind of held off on this. Lane gave me a name of the person that, we talked about this before, in Indiana States, who had been in contact back when you guys were doing the original, taking the Winfield meeting a couple of years ago. Now that we're gonna be starting it, I want to give him a call, see if he's still around, first. But they go back to Kyle and his relationship with Ben Tonsberg and just talk about how we deal with that.
so I think as far as Carl and Fred, Carl's expressed interest in keeping his work here separate from his relationship with Fred. And I think I would agree that it's probably in our best interest.
All right, so what I will do then, we're meeting in 2 weeks again?
Mhm.
Okay. I'd like to make sure that we have the citizens in that neighborhood aware of what's going on, give them a heads up. And make sure the commission should talk somehow. I have no problem talking to that. Right, if that's what it takes to just to keep that clean.
Yeah, I think we were actually talking in some of our department head meetings this morning about just touching on where we are with this project and what we're looking at for an anticipated start date. And there was mention about the vehicular traffic coming in and out. So the more, we can get ahead of it and maybe bring something out, okay, it between everyone that, hey, this is a document, we can go door to door and deliver or something. And at least gives everyone a heads up that they're not totally surprised if they don't pay attention to stuff. They
Right.
just come and go and don't realize what's going on in their
Yeah.
backyard.
It's hard to reach people. I haven't a clue about social media, so and the idea of something to mail, that's interesting.
It's old school, but
Yeah, it's
everyone,
not-
everyone has a mailbox and everyone goes to it every day.
Would it be worth it to rent a signboard, an electronic signboard for a month?
That's a good idea
You
too.
can change it all the time.
Let me talk to CDM. We've kicked this around. This hasn't become the part until we actually going. But the sign is a good one just to get people going. I mean, I see the instruction sequencing. I was going to put a schedule together. I mean, you're going to see all the trees going to come in 2 weeks. 35 trucks, flatbeds with logs on them, whatever they take for whoever does it. Some of these guys may take them, so they may chip the whole thing. You'll see a bunch of trucks leaving with full of wood chips or logs or both. And then excavators, semi-trailers, and away we go.
There's gonna be a lot of activity kind of all at
Yeah,
once.
I mean, we're talking, again, this is part of the pre-meeting that I want to have directly with the contractor. what is your anticipated process? And we've talked a bit about going from the back forward, but now they have stockpile, so we've eliminated a lot of the truck traffic. We've eliminated 1,700 truck trips.
That's impressive.
So,
It's a lot.
yeah, so that's over like 3 months. You're talking about 2 months. So there's a huge amount gone away, and we got to take credit for that. It's a commission. But you're still going to have people coming to work and doing that kind of stuff, and the contractors bringing in. You're going to probably have 2 or 3 excavators working at the same time. And if it was me, I'd have a conveyor. Most of these guys don't like conveyors because they don't know how to use them. But if you had an excavator working and you have a stockpile here, you just go all day long, and the pile gets bigger and bigger. You don't have to truck anything.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, but we'll see. But yeah, the other thing just is having a dog and pony, like bringing some people in the neighborhood. They're going to, hey, come on down, look at this. I'm sure that every kid in the place will be down. You know, they'll be up against the chain link fence, but
Up against a turtle fence.
the chain link fence, the chain link fence. Because this is going to be an unsafe site. You're going to have, you know, an excavation 25, 30 foot down. So you're not going to have access to the site because it's just kind of get everyone thinking about what it's going to affect. All right, good. Yeah, these are trying to think about other ways to communicate because all the intensity of just getting to this point was taking up your time.
Signboards are great
signboards
idea
are great.
because even if
That way you
people,
can change it all the time, saying, you know, this is gonna be going on this week.
and no one can say they didn't see it.
Yeah.
You
They're gonna
know,
drive by it to get home.
right there.
See, the thing is,
Even if you transition through the area, you'll be aware.
so my goal, my task then will be to, as I'd already said, to talk to CDM. I'm going to bring that up and put that as a contractor's obligation. You know, it is in a very general term. I think putting something down on 3A and Brook, you know, at 80 right there, something saying beginning on or around April 1st. You know, this is going to start happening, and going to be a 2-sided sign, probably. You know, one of those 2-sided ones.
Yeah, they bring it up into the neighborhood when the construction's actually going.
We wouldn't even necessarily 80 that little stretch because it's kind of narrow. But we put one down in the intersection. That would be probably a good idea. I like that idea. I want to think about it. And just everyone knows.
Right in front of the pump station.
Yes.
Yeah, we own it. That's exactly right. That's another good point. But that,
Yeah, just,
All right.
just so people are notified, you know, on a daily basis that this is gonna happen this week or.
Yeah.
Expect heavy truck traffic. You know, starting at 7, finishing at 4:30, whatever. I wouldn't get too specific, but
these guys are right now. They're not. I shouldn't say this. They are open to work on Saturdays. And let's see how the weather goes. But
Yeah.
Just
all right.
Okay.
There's nothing else.
that was a.
You can have that, I have.
If you can give them a
I entertain a motion.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.